Hello, everyone and no one, and welcome to another Rotten Movie Reviews. Today we watched the 2008 film Bangkok Dangerous, where Nicolas Cage plays a hitman who obviously goes to Bangkok. But with me, as always, is Tier Alexander. Tier, how you doing?
I'm doing great, my friend. How are you?
Not so bad. Join us as well as Angela. Angela, how you doing?
Been all right. That was really good.
And rounding us out is Will at Forge. Will, how you doing?
Hitmen, like autists, should not have suffer attacks of conscience. Let's say suffer attacks of full auto.
True. And when in doubt, use plastic explosives.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like what? How many movies has this been where he played the hitman or some sort of hired killer?
For
A lot.
this of playing a hired killer, I mean, Red Rock West, he was thought to be the hired killer, not the actual hired killer. So
Okay.
let's see.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's actually the killer that often, but he's does the criminal, the con, and everything.
Yeah, he's been a criminal in
often
quite a
enough.
few of them.
Red Rock West, he was a criminal.
Well, no, Red Rock West, he was a veteran who was mistaken for being the hitman.
Amos and Andrew, he was a criminal.
Yep, but he didn't kill anyone.
He didn't
I mean,
kill
obviously,
anyone.
there's also, Time to Kill. He wasn't a good person. Raising Arizona, he was a criminal.
He was a criminal.
But not a hitman.
Yeah.
He wasn't a good person in like 90% of the first things we watched.
Yeah, it's like
Trapped in Paradise.
He didn't really become a good person until
Kiss of Death.
Like
The Rock.
Well, I was
96.
Pirelli's Mandolin, but I'm not sure which one was first.
No, he's had several of them where he's been a good person, because technically
he wasn't a bad person.
Moonstruck, technically Red Rock West, he wasn't a bad person.
Garden Test, he wasn't a bad
Garden
guy.
Test,
no, even better.
Firebirds.
Garden Test after.
Here we go.
Moonstruck.
We know we can go to a simple one where he wasn't the bad guy. Valley Girl.
Yep, you're right. He wasn't the bad guy in Valley Girl.
No, he was just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. He was just crazy.
Allegedly.
Well,
yeah.
Being one of God's fools doesn't make you a bad person.
Also, what's up, clown?
Yo, clown.
Clown.
But yeah, for a movie that was predominantly, obviously set in China, and with what they did with it, not bad.
Actually,
Thailand.
It was set in Thailand.
Thailand.
But
does it? Sorry, I get those confused.
Bangkok is the capital of Thailand.
That's right. My bad.
And that's actually why all of the elephants were so important. They're actually considered lucky, so they're not barred or driven out of the cities, which is why it is not uncommon to run into elephants in the middle of the city.
Oh yeah, and elephants will fuck you up just because they feel like it.
I know.
But it's funny for this movie, he has the whole thing, does the one job, the typical thing, like the typical have to have the shoot when the bell goes off and whatnot, which was pretty cool. And he used a fucking Accuracy International Arctic Warfare rifle. God, I want one of those so bad, but they're so fucking expensive. The rifle that was designed for the English or British military by 3 guys in a garage.
Nice.
Oh yeah, that story is hysterical of that whole thing. 3 guys in a garage freaking go through and basically play the whole British military. Be like, yeah, we're not just 3 dudes in a garage. But continuing on, he has the whole thing of, this is my job. These are the rules that I follow for doing this job. Then proceeds to break them.
Every one of them, just every last rule he has, just destroyed all the rules.
Brother is one of our favorites. Rotn keeps quoting that movie all the time.
It's because we got to bring back Ivy Banging.
Exactly. Shit. Please, Lord, bring back
Ivy
Ivy Banging. Like,
But
yeah.
it had its slower moments and everything, but wasn't terrible. So
I mean, I could jump out the love story.
overall opinion of the movie, did you like it and were you entertained? Tier.
Yeah, I liked it and I was entertained.
Angela
Yeah, I loved it.
and Will.
Yes, and far less grudgingly than Tier, but may I tell you, Ed.
Oh, I'm not surprised Tier liked it. It had boobs in it, like straight up open chest.
Yeah, had tits.
Yeah.
Tits make every movie better.
You had actual boobs. You had freaking shadow boobs. You had the freaking
We had
clothing.
head shaking.
Sheer clothing, was it called?
The super sheer.
Yes.
The super sheer dresses in that one scene in the bar.
Mm-hmm.
We had Taiwanese girls shaking their ass. Yes.
Yep, we had juicy girls basically making Taiwanese Coyote ugly. Except for it wasn't really Taiwanese Coyote ugly considering they weren't doing the drinks as well.
You do realize that Taiwan and Thailand are two different places, correct?
Sorry. I keep fucking that up.
You know what?
I didn't.
You know what? Thai girls shaking their ass.
Yes, they are Thai. They are not Taiwanese.
Thailandese.
Well, we had Asian girls shaking their Asian asses for my entertainment.
So would Thailandese work properly?
It's just Thai.
Yeah, I didn't know what the frickin' thing for that was, so that's my bad.
No worries. Well, you don't need to apologize to me. I'm not Thai. But...
Well, I mean, you could be for all we know. I just had to make the joke.
That would be interesting. A Thai Jew.
A Thai Jew. I like that name. We're going to call you Mothra.
But yeah, this was almost like a mix of before John Wick existed and like taking elements of the Transporter. You know, because
it's like a softer version of John Wick. No one killed the dog in this one, so.
It kind of bugs me that everybody automatically goes to John Wick when it's a guy wiping out people.
Well, I think Man on Fire, but
Well, it's one of my go-tos when you go to Hitman going on a rampage for people doing bad stuff to him.
I mean, we could always just use Hitman.
Well, that's just it. He was just a straight up hitman. It wasn't. He didn't start having the conscious about killing anyone until the kid turned around and told him that his target was a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, he said it was a good guy first, and then you got to sign that as a target, which I called it. Totally, they telegraphed that from a mile away.
Yeah,
Right.
he started to have a heart.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
but
we
he
could-
started to have one.
I mean, we could always, in a way, compare it to the actual movie of Hitman, you know, where Timothy Olyphant plays Agent 47.
Mm.
I don't know what movie that is, but you said Timothy Olyphant, and now I need to see it.
Yeah, it's
I
based
do know
off
what
the video
movie
game.
that is. Yeah.
That is an underrated actor right there.
Oh, yeah.
I absolutely adore Timothy Olyphant. If you ever want to do his entire playbook,
That's going to be just as long with
in
even
for
more
that.
TV show appearances.
Yeah.
well, I mean his movie playbook, not his TV.
Why? Justified was a great TV series, at least the first one.
Yeah, so was Deadwood, but
Still have yet to watch that.
I have
it
to watch that one too.
so good. So freaking good. Oh,
Okay, and for the John Wick thing, people have to stop just going because he killed his dog. It's not the entirety of it. It means you didn't pay attention. One, they also stole his car. which was an older.
Well,
Shut up! I'm not done.
God damn it!
When he talks to Vigo and they say it was just a car, it was just it was just a dog, it was just a puppy, he brings up, you have to remember, that was a gift from his dead wife, so he could grieve unabridged.
Point of information, Rotn.
Mm-hmm.
You're responding to what my brother said. My brother places more value on the dog than.
Oh, I'm not saying it's just the dog is a bad thing though, but like Will had said earlier, it's like for the dog, and it's like it's not just the dog; it's the dog and what the dog represents, and that's all anyone ever says. Like, oh, they killed a dog, and it's like, for fuck's sake, dude, did you like not even watch like did you peruse the cliff notes?
Well, I watched the movie. I'm just saying that I place more stock on the dog too.
Yeah,
I haven't seen.
I actually do recommend
John Wick
the first
is on my must-watch list, but I have to find it where I can watch it.
The dog is important for being a dog, but it's also important for being what it represents. Yes.
Yes. Plus, you have Willem Dafoe in it as well, or Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they had a good mixture of guns and violence and everything in there. The whole having to kill the guy on the boat was pretty comical.
Yes.
Comical. It was.
I don't know if the like
it wasn't comical.
I don't know if using the propeller would actually cut someone's arm off.
Oh yeah.
It depends on the propeller.
It would be a pretty brutal injury, though.
Oh yes, it would definitely sever. It would definitely sever muscle and tendons.
Some of them would cut a hand off.
You were saying, Angela?
It wouldn't have been that clean, but it would have ripped his arm.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He would have lost the arm. Just would have ripped it off rather than cutting it so smoothly.
Yeah, marine liability is a big thing.
I just like that whole thing near the end. He's just like, we haven't heard back from our hit squad. Maybe he killed him. He's just one. It's like maybe he killed them all. It's just one man.
Yeah.
I always love that about like every action movie. Well, of course, because he's a mob boss. Like 90% of them that they show in these types of things, when they have someone else who's the muscle, like that's the reason why they look tough, is because they have someone else who can do the violence for them.
Yeah, but it kind of ruined the guy for me. It's a bitch.
Because that's like if you've seen Sicario, the last guy that he kills in that one, kind of goes out like a bitch. I mean, granted, his whole family does get killed in front of him as well. If you've never seen Sicario is slow, but I like it.
I have not seen it.
Yeah, Sicario is one of those Benicio del Toro roles in that.
Okay.
Benicio.
And like I said, it's a slow roll to where like he is a main character, but he's not the main character. Plus you got the guy who played the main character in Burn Notice is in it. It's got several people in it. Like that's a good one. Yeah, this movie was definitely fun. It was really weird, seeing like first you see Nicolas Cage blow someone's brains out, then tase a dude and freaking make him OD.
Yeah. He breaks all his rules by getting attached.
Mm-hmm.
Going out on dates of all things. Does get me to one thing that doesn't work for me in the movie, though. Well, one of a few.
Okay, go ahead.
So the taser thing for a moment brought me back, because if they were looking for actual evidence, the taser would leave marks that would be pretty unmistakable.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe he OD'd, but this wasn't voluntary. But the thing he told the mob boss, "I see your people again. See your people again. I'm going to kill your wife," and stuff. I know she's probably more innocent than most of the others in the family, or maybe not. Maybe she's just totally aware of the criminal activities of the family. But it seems like a loose end that in his free to get things done, he doesn't do the family annihilator thing.
He doesn't wipe out the entire family. I mean, he could have said, "I'll kill your kids." That would have been dark.
Well,
I mean, that was
it
for
just,
the following of them.
Well, I mean, this was definitely what he ended up doing was far worse. So it'd be like promise made, promise fulfilled kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like how he killed Blondie Boy or Bleach Blonde.
Yes. Fuck him.
That one. Just the whole thing of like when they go into his house and he can hear it and whatnot, and it's just like he starts walking out like, what is that? They hear the beeping. Not one of them thought to fucking run away, and it's just like, when in doubt, plastic explosives.
Yeah. And then he jumps in the tub.
Well, he's got it's a good protection against shrapnel, and it's not terrible against the pressure wave either.
Yep.
Makes sense.
It's at least a hard barrier.
I learned something interestingly new.
And the pressure wave off a decent sized explosive will kill you as fast as the shrapnel will.
Mm-hmm.
And more certainly because they've got a chance of digging the shrapnel out potentially.
Well, the shockwave
patching you
also
up.
has a chance of rupturing your organs.
Yeah, that's a.
I know what's up, Mr. Scott.
So he gets another dog later, brother?
At the end of the movie,
at the end of the movie,
he
he
does.
grabs him, but he goes another dog. He finds one.
Sorry, like I said, I haven't seen the John
It's
Wick.
still a sad movie.
Yeah.
I was really. He kind of had no way out. He had had the best parts of his life that he could have with the life that he chose. But I still was bummed out with the way this movie ended.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there's no guarantee that he couldn't have survived and just lived off his wealth.
Mm-hmm. Well, this was supposed to be his last job.
Yeah. Instead, they made it a literal translation.
Yeah. That was an alternate ending too, from what I see.
Probably a surviving one.
See, if they wanted to make a Bangkok Dangerous 2, they'd have to use Kong.
Yep. Kong.
That's what it's Kong. Yeah.
Hold on. Alternate ending, according to Wikipedia. Alternate to the theatrical depiction depicts Joe about to kill himself when he sees Kong hijacking a police car and coming to his rescue. He kills Cigarette and runs to the stolen car, although he is shot once in the arm. The duo managed to elude the authorities and hide in a neighborhood a few blocks away from Cigarette's headquarters. As locals come out to investigate the commotion, Kong reveals Joe as Cigarette's killer. They help him. They help him recuperate, while one local mentions Cigarette's reputation, adding that his death should mark the end of his crimes and atrocities in their community. Kong then takes Joe to a boatman the next day and gives him his passports so he may flee the country. Joe thanks Kong for his assistance and gives him the bank account number with a bonus, calling him a good student. Joe then departs and the camera focuses on Kong from Joe's perspective, similar to the original ending. I think I like that ending a little better. It's such a downer ending.
Well, not every ending needs to be a happy ending. I know some people don't like to hear
I
that.
mean, granted, yeah, like not everything doesn't need to get neatly wrapped up. I get it, but still, such a downer ending.
The tier likes things nicely gift wrapped with an ending.
Yes, my poor widow mind can't comprehend anything else.
Tier, breathe.
Yes, thank you. Whew. Thank you, Will.
And the use of a Mac 10 was a weird choice. I will agree with that one. But it is always fun to see a Mac 10 in a movie. At least if I remember correctly, it's a
Technically,
Mac
didn't
10.
say weird, just interesting.
No, I said weird.
I mean, he did get rid of it, you know.
Oh, and it was
He
a
timed
Mac.
that purpose.
Oh, it's even gayer. It wasn't a Mac 10. It was a Mac 11.
Oof.
Well, Mac 10's a 45. A Mac 11's a 380. They look similar, but it's the Mac 11's a bit smaller.
Well, I mean, if you're trying to wrestle it with girly hands.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, that's what they had Wesley Snipes use in the first Blade movie. His main gun was a modified Mac 11. I mean, it'll do the job.
Most guns will do the job. Just depends on where you hit them and how many times you have to hit them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, other than like 25 and 32, because of the guns, they're usually how small the guns they're usually chambered in. There's really not too much difference in ballistics gel and that whole thing. It's just depending on what it is, they're going to have more power in them. There were some converted Mac 10s to Mac 10s to 9mm, I believe, but the Mac 11 is used pretty prominently over the Mac 10. It's easier to manage the recoil. Because
And managing the recoil is important with full auto.
mm-hmm. Yeah, but they did have the two versions for the Mac 10, one in 9 and one in 45. Most of them are just known for being in 45 for a Mac 10. Because
cool.
in a lot of cases they like to suppress them, and since the 45 is I'd say naturally in a way, but predominantly loaded to be a subsonic round, it's one of the easiest rounds to inherently suppress.
Okay.
Yeah, so for 9mm, you actually have to look for subsonic ammo.
Yeah, with 9mm, you want to look for subsonic ammo. You also want it to be a heavier bullet.
Which I've shot subsonic without a problem.
I mean, most guns, it's still going to function. It's not. It all just depends
Yeah,
on the
it's-
size of it.
It's the same size bullet, just less powder.
And apparently, they had a couple officers in there carrying fucking Colt Anacondas during the parade. Those long ass barreled revolvers were Colt Anacondas. It's like, holy shit. Thailand using Thailand cops using some fucking power. They were going with the Dirty Harry thought process.
It's not about the power; it's about the penetration. Love that line.
No, that's the second. That's not the second one.
That third one.
Yeah, I do believe that is the third one, and that's what the chick says.
That's what. That's what the only female partner he has.
Well, I mean, throughout the entire series of that, he only has 2 partners that survive.
The Asian guy survives, and
This Mexican guy survives in the first one.
yeah,
So if you want to be a partner to a cop, cops like that, you want to keep your distance as their partner.
I mean, you don't want to be Dirty Harry, partner. They tend to end up dead.
I mean, technically, for the third movie, his partner died while he was doing something else. Well, he wasn't even working with him at the time. But he's had a lot of his partners die on him.
Shit. I don't think his partner died in not the fourth one. Magnum Force.
Yep, he was exploded.
So anyway, the Thai cops are asking everybody if they're feeling lucky.
Basically.
Gotta ask yourself one thing. Do you feel lucky? Well, do you?
I thought it was funny the fact that Beach Blonde Boy, who then gets cut in half by a grenade, or well, cut into several pieces, is the only one to use a 1911. I will say, at least the hit squad used a good submachine gun. They used a fucking MP5K.
Yeah. See, and the thing is, you get MP5 and everything, and I'm just looking at this. Okay, MP3, there's your iPod. MP4, there's your iPhone. MP5, well, that escalated quickly.
There's the MP7. Apparently, we just skipped the MP6.
A lot of MPs.
We don't talk about the MP6.
Okay.
Oh shit! Apparently, when this came out, the picture was shooting during the 19 September coup. Nonetheless, filming only stopped for 6 hours.
Wow.
Wow.
That's some
That had to be
determination
creepy.
right there.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in a country that's in the middle of essentially a minor war.
See, that's when you got to start doing the. I'm not sure when it worked for that director. He does not stop for nothing.
No, he does not.
Well, depending on the country and everything else, they've got different laws they can go by comparatively.
That'd be like being in a war film shot by Kubrick, and
He had to film on
70%,
location.
70% of the extras died of gunshot wounds, and
Kubrick liked to film on location, so it's gonna be a war zone, literally. Do it right this time.
we couldn't find a war zone. Well, go make one.
Jeez.
Hey, he's a what's the word I'm looking for? It's a hard director to work for.
He is.
You've heard of
is-
method actors. Kubrick's a method director.
I'm a good director. I was about
Okay, yeah,
to say
and
the same thing. Get out
what's
of
up,
my
K-Shell? And this is the American remake
Yeah, okay,
of
but that's not a remake.
Pang's-
It's more of the American version.
it's a remake of Pang's 1999 debut, Bangkok Dangerous, a Thai film, for which Cage's production company, Saturn Films, purchased the remake rights.
See, now Tira wants to watch the original to see if it's got as many boobs as the remake.
Yeah,
Probably has more.
Most likely.
even better.
Yeah, I know my co-host.
I do not deny being the monster that I am.
I do find it funny that for some odd reason, almost like every watch apparently that gets used by Nicolas Cage when one of his characters use it, and it's a very heavily prominent thing. It's like Nicolas Cage is already a fan of those watches. Like he was a fan of the watch in National Treasure, the first one. He apparently endorsed the watch that they used in this one. That's a Ventura VTEC Sigma W25-R1. God, watches names are weird.
Yes.
You think watches names are weird? Watch insurances. I've had to help quote a floater on a $6,000 watch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, looking down this, like, whoa, this thing is as far as functions, it's not even that great of a watch. It's just made by a big name with high quality materials.
Yeah. That's why I always find it funny, because like the gun community seems to go like one of predominantly two ways from what I've noticed. They're either not like, they either want a watch that's just functional and may look nice and doesn't have to be too pricey. And there's some in the gun community that they're like, nah, man, I got to have a fucking $3,000 watch. I'm like, huh?
I have
don't want-
an Apple Watch specifically because of medical reasons. It syncs with my
Cell phone.
It's
Well,
pancreas.
it syncs with my blood glucose monitor. And it has independent phone line capability. So if something happens where I am semi-incapacitated again outside the reach of my phone, I can still make phone calls.
God damn it, Will.
Yeah.
You wake up in the hospital once with your brain rebooting, you start thinking about things like that.
See, he's got that. It's like, I wear an Apple Watch and have an Apple Watch because 2 years ago at my last company picnic, I won it. And I only started wearing it because I wore a freaking the Fitbit that I had, apparently because of the mixture of like the oils in my skin and whatnot, it could no longer recharge because the brass spots to recharge it had worn away, and one of them had worn a hole through it.
Oh.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Wow,
Okay. I'm reading what Keishel says.
Yeah, the original apparently has a not fun scene.
Yeah, I would say probably when the blonde guy beats up the chick in this one.
Most likely. Well, I mean, that's like if you've seen oh god, I gotta think of the movie. Wanted, the one where they curve the bullets in that. Because that's based off the same writer who did Kick-Ass for a comic book, but it's actually supposed to be not that he's just some super assassin, it's super villains have won. So like in the comic there's like quite a few actual of those.
I can do without that.
The get up here, people here just want something to shoot and we're gonna watch will probably get you robbed. Well, one of the guys I was watching who was going over the watch he has of it being like a $2,500 watch, and he's like, that's a bargaining tool and whatever. It's like there's some crisis or something. I'm like, and there's also, hey, I have a gun. Please go here. Like, I don't want to shoot you. I'm not trying to be a dick. I just need help. I did like the fact, though, for him going, it's like basically falling in love with a deaf chick, then going to get robbed. And she doesn't notice anything until she feels the blood splatter.
Yeah, most of the people in the ghetto, brother, are not like multi-million-dollar hitmen.
Mm-hmm.
In the ghetto.
In the ghetto.
Yeah, I think
Mark Miller wrote one. Cool.
Yeah, I think he also did Kick-Ass because, like, from what I'm aware of, it's supposed to be based off where basically the supervillains won. So, like, it's got no, not Kick-Ass, Wanted. It's like it's got all sorts of fucked up shit in it because they're villains.
I know exactly two things about Wanted. One, James McAvoy's in it. Two, the chick with
Freeman's in it.
The chick where the guys are all gung ho on her lips, Angelina Jolie.
I'm not surprised the remake changed everything about the characters. I mean, Cage has this isn't the first time that's happened with Nicolas Cage. I mean, like, his remake of Gone in 60 Seconds had an actual plot.
Yes,
I know.
I liked it better
I
than
still like the original though.
the original. Was okay. I just expected nicer cars. I expected better cars. I wanted better cars.
But it was that
Mhm.
whole thing of you saw the remake before you saw the original, so once you knew it was based off of, you're like, oh, so this has got to be a bunch of fancy cars. And for something that was made in 1973, yes, there was fancy cars, but the guy who put
Yeah,
it up
but
did it himself.
they weren't like the cars made me sad.
In 70, they could have done better cars for 73.
Yes, but he was also working off a smaller budget than the remake was, and majority of the cars the guy used were his own.
Yeah, I know, but I the car.
Yo, I like that movie.
I still want that Shelby from the second one. Oh,
Oh, so
Yeah.
God,
here,
The unicorn,
yeah.
Eleanor.
Eleanor.
So here's another
Eleanor.
goof in the movie, to where Joe declares that the rules he lives by leave no traces, yet throughout the entire movie handles all his guns and ammo with bare hands, or handles
Yeah,
a bunch of. It's like that leaves.
He
That
does
leaves
nothing
evidence.
but leave traces.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you,
With-
brother. Thank
With
you.
with modern forensic tools, he'd be caught in one job.
My brother comes up with would have been gone in 60 seconds, but Angelina Jolie was a girl interrupted.
Ah,
Oh, wow.
I know.
And you claim him?
Yes, I claim him.
I mean, she claimed to be my friend.
It made me chuckle. So
I mean, Will, she claimed to be my friend. That's a fucking lot.
I was gonna say, did you
Excuse me.
get the impression that I was particularly well? No, I am actually very choosy, you guys.
Okay, so I did notice that apparently during the shootout, yeah, my guntistic ass noticed this. It's like for parts of that whole thing, his gun changed.
Yeah, no, I noticed. Even I noticed that, and I'm not a gun
Mhm.
person.
Yeah, it
I
went
think I've
it went between
been,
Glock and Sig.
I think I've been watching too much. I've been talking to you too much and watching too much. Unsubscribe. So I'm like sitting there going, are those the same?
Nope.
They're both guns. They're both shooting. I'm probably one of the only people noticing.
Mhm.
Just like he can't keep getting away with this. He's corrupted my mind. I used to not notice these things and just be oblivious and enjoy it.
Now I see it all.
Brother, stop trying to make it worse. Stop trying to make
No,
it
keep going, clown. You can do it.
Do you see what he's doing?
Yes.
Do you see what I see?
Do you see what I see?
Will, do you want to know?
Unless he
Dear
punts.
ass.
He says she may have sidetracked to raid a tomb or had something to do with Mr. Smith.
Oh, boy.
I know.
It's not his best work. He can do better. I believe
Yeah,
you,
I know
clown.
he could do better, but still, ouch.
So I will say one of the things that did bug me is, he's supposed to be this really good assassin, like, the Russians swear by him and everything, and then he couldn't shoot at a moving target. Like what?
If you're talking about the boat scene, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Especially
He was
because
trying to figure out how to take the shot without hitting the chick that was right behind him through him.
no,
Yeah.
we're talking about after
was
that
what
when
I
they're
was-
going after him. When they're chasing after him, he should have had no problem being an experienced assassin.
He should have been able to shoot him while he was chasing him. You
Oh,
are
yeah.
correct. But
I did like the fact that when he's running away from the botched political assassination attempt, and he steals some dude's hat, steals a guy's phone, freaking camera, and just starts going around and taking pictures.
I thought that was cool.
That was clever.
Nice cover. That was nice cover.
Well, it's like I was saying in the. It's like I was saying in the review that y'all haven't gotten on the Double MacGuffin yet. Is you don't sneak. You don't try to slink in everything. It attracts attention.
Mm-hmm.
You make sure that nobody that's paying attention sees the transition for a situation like this, but it's like, okay, be casual, act like you belong, act like you're part of the people that are supposed to be there. It's the slinking around and trying to avoid attention that makes people pay attention to you. Just unless you get a situation where you absolutely cannot be seen at all, it's just act casual.
Mm-hmm.
I belong here and I do this all the time.
Didn't mean to throw salt on the conversation or dare say hack it.
Don't worry.
As long as you don't try to hack the planet.
We're like a group of squirrels.
The other thing that bothered me about that boat scene was the fact of how many shots got put into the boat and it didn't start sinking at fucking all. Like, it didn't even start taking on water. And it's like, that's not how boats work, especially when they're made of wood.
Yeah, they might have the buoyancy to not go under,
but they're
going to take on water, and they're going to be lower in the water.
Yeah, you're talking about after he shot the guy through the boat multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, so you should be jumping onto the other kid's boat because this boat is going to sink. It's going to take a while, but it is going to sink.
Well, if the right materials and the right buoyancy, it's not going to go down to the bottom. But it will take on water.
It will fill up with water.
It will take on water, but it won't.
Like I said, it's not going to fully, it's not going to end up on the bottom unless the bottom is shallower than the boat.
Yeah.
But it is going to sink to where the boat is floating just under the water.
Mm-hmm.
To the point of neutral buoyancy. How about that?
Otherwise, I definitely will say this was a pretty fun movie for the most part.
It was. I had a really good time until the end when I got really sad.
Yeah.
Don't get sad. If you do, the Hillary gets you.
No.
Like
I'm not sad.
My only issue with that whole before the last part was when he's going through and against the last guy before saving Kong and that whole thing, and he's firing through the water bottle. It's like through the big jugs of water. It's like
those would stop. Enough of those will stop around.
Enough of those will stop around. And two, why are you firing from both? Just use one. And when the guy comes around, you just keep the one pointed forward. Maybe shoot a couple times with the other to keep him shooting. Then when he comes around, you just put one in him.
I mean, he got him in the end. Still.
I mean, dual wielding in itself is just dumb. It looks cool in movies. It's cool in video games. But like dual wielding guns is actually not the best thing unless you're gonna like go back and forth between guns, but it's still usually faster and easier to transition from target to target with one gun.
Well, I mean, if they had to stick with what was practical, we wouldn't have Hollywood as we know it.
That's what
Yeah.
makes
It'd be an
John.
improvement, but we wouldn't have Hollywood as we know it.
Well, it's like that's one of the things that made the first John Wick so good. Everything for a lot of the stuff that was done with the guns was so practical.
Yeah.
Well,
Although what's-
half of because Keanu actually trained.
Yeah.
So
Well, the other funny thing is if you actually pay attention to that movie, there's a scene where one of the like the Vigo's like his head henchman, and or one of them at least for the club,
mhm.
he fires, and you'll see that he's supposed to have fired like 3 times, but he takes one shot and gets a stovepipe.
Ooh.
But somehow it shows that he would have fired like 2 more times, and it's just like, ah, I caught that. It's supposed to be a blank firing gun, but it's still just like,
Yeah, it's sad when stuff like that happens because Reeves was trying to, he actually paid attention to all kinds of crap on that. Yeah, kind of like you realize that if you're counting rounds, he actually reloads every time he would have had to with those guns,
Mhm.
or there's a cut in which so that the gun runs out at realistic intervals, and you can see there's like, hey, it's slide lock, he has to reload, or there's a cut in the action where there's a break where he plausibly could have reloaded. And when you think about how few movies in Hollywood do that,
bro, there's enough movies in Hollywood. Like, okay, I like the underworld movies, and the third one that's not the prequel. A dude uses a Taurus Judge, and he shoots like 7 or 8 times with it. It's a 5-round gun.
4 rounds, 5 rounds. Who's counting?
Me
Of course.
and a lot of other people when it comes to revolvers.
prequels say when it comes to firearms in movies, frequently me.
Who's counting?
That's why, like, I actually like the fact they didn't show the hammerback too often in the 1911. Not the hammerback, the hammer forward. Like that
Well,
shit
once
always
you-
bugs me. That's like that was one of the things that did bug me about the first John Wick as well. Is when they're like, he's here. You see the guy draw his gun and then cock it. It's like, why the fuck wasn't it loaded in the first place, dumb nuts?
Because he decocked it.
No, he fully racks the slide back.
Oh, so he wasn't carrying around in the what? Self-respecting hitman doesn't carry around in the chamber.
Yeah. That shit bugs me in like every movie. Like I hate it when they do it with shotguns. I hate it when they do it with freaking
Yeah.
pistols or whatever. Cause like I don't know if this will come through. Like so many movies, as soon as they draw a gun, you hear. And it's like, it's not how it works. Like you'll hear
Is that how any of this
they'll
works?
pull up a Glock and pull out, you'll still hear. I have no idea if those went through.
Yeah, I heard it.
I heard
Me
it.
too.
Let's grab one
Yeah,
of my others to
it's-
see if this one will go through as well.
Yep.
Yes.
And we'll go with this one. This will be the second to last one that actually has a hammer.
Yep.
It's like
And then we'll grab my Desert Eagle. Ooh, that one's loud.
Yeah. I think they heard that one the next county over, dude.
your neighbors are now calling the police because they heard that one from their house.
Well, I live in an apartment, so
Oh well.
Yeah, he did that. The police dog a block away just pissed himself.
Ah, crap! I gotta deal with this shit again.
The only thing is my Deagle's not one of the cool 50 Action Express ones. It's 357 Magnum.
Yeah, but a hole in you is a hole in you. As somebody who's been perforated a few times, though not with guns,
Dude,
not
dude,
not a fan of holes in me.
on Friday, I was using my Leatherman to trim this wax rail for where boxes go through. And the blade is towards me because I'm pulling up on it to get it. And just the tip of it, because of how sharp I have the knife, fucking gives me like a 1/4 inch cut.
Just a tip.
From the back, going backwards. Just like, how the fuck does that happen?
Riding in the chest down with okay.
You shouldn't play just the tip with a Leatherman.
Apparently so.
Shouldn't.
Yeah, there was the one double action 1911, but it doesn't look like a standard 1911. Go up to this, go back up to IMDb or IMFDB.
Yeah, I still want a platypus.
manufacturers.
So
And we go to Colt.
I want a hippopotamus for Christmas.
Yeah, you need to talk to somebody else about that.
What? You're not gonna give me a hippopotamus for Christmas?
I think he needs to talk to a shrink for that.
Definitely.
You just don't know the song.
I know the song.
Please
Best friend
don't.
likes that song.
Yeah, the Colt Double Eagle was made from 1989 to 1997. And I'm pretty sure that's the one that was the double action Colt pistol.
I just need to win like the Powerball or the Mega Millions soon.
Okay, we're gonna get into that whole thing. If you go in the Powerball, you want the jackpot, because if you win $1 million in the Powerball, from what I'm aware of, you don't get whatever the times thing would be for it. Now, if you play the Mega Millions, and win the $1 million, you can get the anywhere from the 2 to 5 times Megaplier if you pay for the Megaplier. So you'd either win 2 million or up to 5 million, unless it's the jackpot. And then you're gonna And then, since you live in Michigan like I do, you're going to keep about approximately 54% of it if you tell them to take all the maximum tax that they can take out of it, which is what I would do if I won.
Yeah.
Because it's the state can take up to 9%, so the government or the federal government can take up to 37%. I.e., meaning you get 54%.
So, and the first thing that I would do is I would call my mom's financial advisors and her accountant and say, yeah, need you to hook me up.
Oh yeah, depending on what it is and that whole thing, or how much you won. Like, there is a whole thing where you could live off it, and depending on how much you're getting, how much you won versus how much you're getting back, for federal, because it's going to be a long-term thing of what you have for it. You're either going to, if it's under like 53,000, you pay 0 federal tax. If it's like 53.5 to 53,500 to like it's almost like 500,500, or it's like $550,000. I'm sorry. Yeah, 550K. You'd only pay 15% tax on it. Anything over that, you would pay a 20% tax. And for Michigan, the tax for that is 4.05%.
So I'm just talking the folks that
I have looked this up about like the whole thing of your capital gains tax, basically.
Mm-hmm. I could do a little bit of if you have a big enough seed fund on it, you do a lot of it in municipality bonds and stuff.
Mhm.
And have completely tax-free returns.
Well, for that whole thing, it's all just going to depend on like, because there's a thing I've talked to with my dad that if I won, I'd be putting it in this one, probably at least a set amount of it in one account to where basically for as long as I don't, like the first 5 years, I wouldn't even be touch it, so I wouldn't get taxed on it, and it would have that compound yearly interest, and then basically, from my understanding, would be is that whatever I actually would take from what it gained that I didn't put back in would be what I would have to pay taxes on.
If I ever hit the Mega Millions or anything like that, I'd never tell another living soul. No one would ever know I had that money.
You'd have to be set up a very specific way for collecting the funds then as a business, because the record of the winners is a public record.
Wrong. Michigan changed that law a year ago.
And I do believe Marla has something
Interesting.
similar.
Yeah, Michigan changed it to where you can now anything over $10,000 you can remain anonymous. So what Michigan law changed it to is because I don't know about the Powerball, but for the Mega Millions, yeah, we're getting off the movies and into the lotto. Fun times. The Mega Millions has it that they allow anonymity for any winnings depending on state law. So if the state law has that you have to say who you are, you would then have to say who you are. But Michigan Michigan recently changed it in the past couple of years. So I think it was in 2023 they passed the law of basically it's like a lotto anonymity law. So if you win the over like $10,000, your name does not go into public record. If you don't
nice.
if you don't want it to. If you want it to,
Oh hell, I don't want to say. I don't want it to be public records. Are you kidding me?
Nope. Marla State, I don't have to reveal nothing.
I wouldn't even tell Mom Forge, and she wouldn't be asking me for any of it if I did.
Well, I've already said there's like a few people I would tell, and otherwise, and that's basically just my folks, because I'd probably buy it like it's gonna be buying their house and like paying off some of my family members' debts a little bit. Like one of the things I would do for my brother is I would pay off all but like 10-15 bucks of his restitution that he owes to the state and federal government.
I'd buy my mother's house, the house beside me, and the two houses beside me, and I would make sure that no one fucking gets in there.
Well, at least you'd have the money for insuring vacant houses. That's expensive.
That, or you could buy the houses next to them, demolish them, and turn them into a yard or something.
I'd keep one. I would demolish the one to my immediate right, and then turn that into a yard, and keep the other one. I may expand my house, like knock down the exterior wall and expand it, make it bigger.
Otherwise, Clown, the other thing you can always do is start yourself an LLC, because then it doesn't matter. Like if you had won something to where,
right? If they didn't have the privacy protections on it, that's what I was talking about. You start an LLC and you claim it in the name of the LLC. Mind you, the owners of the LLC is still a public record, but it's at least an extra step anybody would have to go through to come close to tying it to you.
because that's how you could do it as well, depending on if like you wonder where like once it gets to where it's like you'd have over 100 mil for what you're gonna do, because then like for depending on who it is, some people might actually do the whole thing of like even let's like give their family some of the dividends of like what they would gain each year or whatnot. It all just depends. I'm like, I just would love to win the lotto enough to buy a house, which is where I wish the Mega Millions would actually do a $100,000 win instead of going from it's like $2. It's got two different $2 ones, I think it is. $10, $100, $10,000. There's like two different $10 ones or something. I can't remember right offhand.
I get the multiplier, and you could get
with the mega
up to like 50,000.
Yeah, which means you're getting 27,000 back. Like, that's a down payment, but not a lot. Like, the whole thing.
Well, I mean,
for the
it's
yes,
that's potentially enough to do a down payment, and depending on the house, have a mortgage with your mortgage payment less than your current rent.
Yeah. Well, then it all depends on like how much they're. Well, it all depends on A, what the interest rate is, and B, how much you're getting in. The unfortunate thing is for like so many houses right now, they are stupid expensive still. Like, even the fixer-uppers are over 200,000 in a lot of places. But it's that whole thing.
Well, it doesn't help that
you also
BlackRock's given tax money to bid against private home buyers.
Yeah. And then it also doesn't help that it depends on where you're going to live.
Not California.
Yeah.
Well, like, it's going to be more expensive, obviously, when you get to bigger cities and whatnot compared to more rural areas.
Relocate to Vegas. You don't spend your time on the strip. It's actually quite an economical place to live.
But I have to live in the desert.
I wouldn't want to do that just because I wouldn't want to, like, I'd be tempted to go to SHOT Show every fucking year.
So?
I mean, you have money, you can do that.
What's wrong with that?
Because I could go to SHOT Show, but I can't carry a gun in SHOT Show.
Yeah, point.
It's always the fun part around here in Michigan, or it's like a lot of places like, I'm going to go to a gun show. Hey, by the way, then we know this is a gun show and you have a concealed carry license. You can't carry in here. It's like, that's dumb.
Yeah. Especially considering the level of criminal background check they do on concealed carriers and everything, and the crime statistics. They're more law-abiding than the cops that are allowed to carry guns at gun shows.
There also was a thing in Michigan a few years back and whatnot. I can't remember how far back it was, to where they accidentally did approve some people that should have never been approved to get a concealed carry license.
Oof.
Well, that's on the
that's on the state government.
That's on the state not doing their job.
Yep.
And I don't think we should make that job any easier, specifically because if you're going to have a licensing regime, it's got to be shall issue.
Oh, yeah.
And if they're not going to do their part to actually determine the person is not eligible for some legally valid reason, then they should be giving the license.
Yeah, apparently it was only a small minority of people. And what, Angela?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, apparently it was only a small number of people, and it wasn't for very long that they had it, that they got them. Like, and were even considered okay. Like, basically they had something like, hey, you need to return that.
Well, it's now what I was going to say is it's not really a whole lot different than not being able to carry a weapon into Comic-Con, but being able to buy the weapon you would have walked in with while you're there.
Yeah, but if they're anything like Ren fairs and stuff I've been to, they'll like wrap it up and they will escort you out with it.
Yes, the Otakon has the same philosophy. You can't carry it. They'll wrap it up and they'll escort you out with it.
Yeah.
And you immediately have to take it to your hotel room or wherever.
Or a vehicle or whatever.
Yeah. I wouldn't go in with a real weapon to those things anyway. It's my 3D print painted.
I mean, the only way I would ever do something like that is if I went through, had the whole freaking like Western getup and the whole thing, and I would do 4 single action revolvers. That would all be custom.
4?
Yep. 2 on the sides, 2 in the back.
Who are you cosplaying?
Nobody. I'm creating a character. I'm creating my cowboy.
He's creating
No,
the boy.
there's nothing that says you can't go to one of those things as your own character.
The
Shit, I
thing
wanted my
is,
own character. I wanted to change
with-
Royal Poisoner.
thing is, single action Colts, it makes sense to carry a few extras just because those take a minute to reload.
I would probably go with the Ruger Vaquero.
Por qué?
A Ruger Vaquero is Ruger's version of the Colt single action army, but instead of having to half cock the hammer to then open it to be able to rotate the cylinder, as soon as you open the slide gate, it actually lets it free spin. They did that so they wouldn't have to pay money to Colt for the thing. It's the reason why there's this like Heritage firearms for their Rough Riders. They have a safety on them that you can use, so they didn't have to pay Colt for a patent fee or copyright or whatever.
The things people do to get past patent fees.
Yes.
Clown, give me the land. Give me the land at the house. I'll camp until I can buy a trailer. Honestly, depending on what it is, you could go for a modular home just as cheap as a trailer.
Yeah, I was gonna. Honestly,
Yeah, and they're
like, when I do get to where I'm like situated and in order and everything, I'm looking at like I want to buy developed land, stuff that already has plumbing and electricity and everything run to it.
Yeah, depending on how much land you're looking to buy, you only want where the area where you're going to have a yard and a house be considered developed land.
Yeah, I want I want an acre, maybe 2, so that I can have dogs and like maybe a
So in all reality, I would say
archery range.
Yeah, and that whole thing, you're going to want probably about a half acre to a third. It's like a third to a half acre be actual developed land. Because if you make the entire 2 acres considered developed land, your taxes are going to be fucking terrible.
Well, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have like 2 or 3 tiny houses, like, or little houses. I haven't decided if I'm gonna actually go with the tiny home aspect or not. At least one of them will be a tiny.
Yeah,
tiny house.
if you
'Cause
are
it's just gonna be my office and studio.
okay, and something like that, I wouldn't call it a tiny house. I'd call it a shed. Because depending on what type of structure you're going to put up, the state will have different codes for them and whatnot. So it'd be one of those things that if you were able to do it, look into it so that way you can see what's not going to completely railroad you.
It's not a residence, so tax it as an adjacent structure and insure it as an adjacent structure.
Well,
cheaper.
Depending on what it is as well, you can usually get away with a shed because typically sheds aren't oh god, I'm trying to think of the word. Not seated, but they're not like a barn that's going to have the poles and everything cemented into the ground. They're not going to be they're not going to have a foundation. They're just built above the ground. And depending on where you live and how big it is and whatnot is where shit starts getting weird and whatnot. But I will be back in just a moment. I have to go use the room of rest and grab a water.
That means we're in control of the stream. Yeah.
Not gonna do anything to nuke Rotn's channel.
The inmates are running the asylum.
I wasn't planning to do anything to nuke Rotn's channel. Jesus. Not this week. Maybe next week.
didn't think you were planning on doing it. I just said we're not doing it whether you want to or not.
Angel, why do you suck the fun out of life?
Hey, I do have fun here and I want to continue having fun here, which is why we're not nuking Rotten's channel.
I mean, man, here you can't nuke Ryan's channel. Here, stop poking me. Here, stop doing this. Dang.
You
Love you,
complain,
Angela.
but she's got a point.
True. Love you, Angela. Don't kill me.
You're the one that says when I do finally meet you, the first thing I'm gonna do is smack you so hard it leave a handprint.
That's true, but don't kill me. I mean, why do you think I'm never coming to California? Ah, see, I got you
That
there.
doesn't mean I'm not coming to Baltimore.
When you come
We'll
to Baltimore, I'm not gonna be
meet in the middle.
there. I'm not gonna be here. No, and you know why I know you ain't coming to Baltimore? Because it's cold here. You can't survive the cold. So I'm gonna go out,
Which is why I will go in the summer.
and that's why I'm gonna go somewhere cold in the summer to
I
avoid
start
you.
walking your way. You start walking mine.
But you hate
We
the
meet in the
cold.
middle, neath that old Georgia pine.
I hate the
We
cold.
gain a
I
lot
do.
of ground.
More likely
We both give a little.
forgive a little. But there ain't no road to ride.
And see, the problem is
You're
the
still
cold
having
kills
an
you.
argument, and we're just laughing now.
In the
Oh.
middle.
Going back to the movie for a second, one of the things I will say I actually really did like in the second rifle scene when they were doing the slow motion of the bullet, I'm actually glad someone had told the director and at least like the CGI team or whatnot, had them see what an actual bullet would look like, had it rotating as it was going. It's like, oh, they got a gun autist in there, at least someone who knew what the fuck they were doing.
Good.
Yeah. It's better than some of them where like they shoot, like they'll show it shoot, but it shoots the whole bullet and the casing. Ugh.
Well, I mean, if they're gonna be dumb about it,
Mr. Scott, you
Yeah.
can meet me in Nebraska.
Nope.
Is Nebraska halfway between you and me, Mr. Scott?
I gotta start planning out where I'm gonna go for the summer. Cause I can't stay here. Angela's liable to come get me.
I mean, she's just gonna have to go door to door. Tear. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, don't you
Tear.
care.
she knows
I'm
where he
more
works.
I'm more likely to join the camping trip with
I mean,
Quiz, Mr.
Well,
Adam, and
and Sanguine
Sanguine.
than I am to go to Baltimore. You don't have to worry, Tier. I'm not gonna come beat you up.
Yeah, I've already told them
I'm
for
not-
how close they are that if they ever made their way down to about where I am, we'd have to get dinner sometime. Or lunch or whatever.
From what I hear, they told you should go camping.
Probably.
I'm a city boy. I've
they
never
did say
been
that as
camping.
well, and maybe some year.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. I'm like, I gotta get my shit together before I can even think about that. Then I gotta figure out how I'm gonna transport the stuff that I need to in order to be able to go camping.
Oh, for all of that, it would be your not carry on.
I have a tent, a cot, and like a camp chair.
Again, I'm a city boy. I've never been camping.
You should go at some point.
Let me rephrase that. I'm a city boy.
You should go sometime.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, Tier.
Well, I did camp twice.
Hold on. It's like in this whole thing, like you're also pretty introverted in this whole scenario as well. It's not like you're going to a convention or anything like that. You know, you're going away from people.
Oh,
So like
like
there's
that.
going to be less people there, and you're not always going to be in each other's business, and it's people for the most part you like that I'm aware of.
Fair enough. That's a good explanation. Okay, I take it back.
My brother says, I've watched The Wire. Avoid Baltimore at all costs, except for seeing Poe's grave.
Look, Baltimore. I mean, it. So how about that camping thing?
I've been
It's
to
really
Baltimore.
good.
Say, I have been to Baltimore. I don't exactly recommend it.
Good morning, Baltimore.
Baltimore is. We have so fuck. This one is hard.
As I was
I'm
saying,
bowing out.
and say for like camping as well, it's not like you're gonna have like Sanguine and them are gonna want to go to somewhere where there's gonna be a plausibility of like a metric fuck ton of predator animals that are gonna fuck with people.
Apparently, they tend to have issues with raccoons and deer.
Food.
Okay, all right. I got it. I got it. At least Baltimore is in San Francisco.
Or Los Angeles.
San Francisco, the only issue you really have is stepping in poop.
Well,
And
we ain't
needles.
got shit. We don't have shit in the streets.
At least as much shit in the streets, because I'm pretty sure shit
Nope,
in
we
some
don't
of the
got shit in the
streets.
streets.
Yeah, no, you're just gonna turn around and get stabbed with a dirty needle or stabbed with a knife. Or
You get
Look.
stabbed with a dirty needle in San Francisco too.
You might get stabbed
Again,
with
at
something else
least
as
it's
well.
not San Francisco. That's the only saving grace.
there
It's
are
not-
things in San Francisco that I would like to see. There are things in Baltimore that I would like to see. Poe's grave being one of them.
There are things. It's kind of like this. There are things in San Francisco I'd like to see, but not enough to go to San Francisco for them.
I have
Exactly.
been to San Francisco. If you
That's
are-
like
you're like a hop, skip, and a jump away from San Francisco.
I did a road trip from San Diego up to Sacramento one year with an internship that I did for the government. We did weatherizations and energy efficiency work in major landmarks at several of the UC colleges between here and there. One of the places that we stopped was San Francisco, where we did weatherizations at a building that was a refuge for people who had been human trafficked in the United States. I did not get to stop at, but I did see Alcatraz. We drove across the Golden Gate Bridge.
yeah, it's like the last bridge I
wanted
still
to
need
see
to drive
Fisherman's
across.
I wanted to see Fisherman's Wharf, but we did not get to. We ended up spending the night that we got to spend out in Chinatown instead. And that disappointed.
Again, I don't want to go too far west than I have to.
Then you,
yeah.
my friend, are stuck with the cold weather. Or Florida.
Florida.
I like to breathe my air, not drink it.
I have associates in Florida that would be very welcoming to me.
I have associates in Florida that would probably be welcoming to me, but I don't exactly want to go.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's still Florida. Have you seen the greatest causes of death in the United States? Florida's is just Florida.
Well, it's a lot better to be in San Francisco. Like, if I can survive in Baltimore, I'm pretty sure I can survive in San Francisco.
It's just
I
gonna
think
smell
you would be
worse.
more. I think you would survive easier in San Francisco.
No, no.
That's true because you would talk.
No, no, no.
For a lot of places, it's like
Remember,
anything. It all just depends on where you go.
I remembered you would open your mouth. Uh-oh.
Ouch! I'm insulted.
Say she's wrong.
I mean, I wouldn't because I wouldn't know anybody there, and I wouldn't say shit. Believe it or not, I'm quiet as the church mouse when I
When you
don't know anybody. I'm quiet as a church mouse, but if I know people, I'm loud as fuck. Like that's how you can tell I'm comfortable around people. I start talking.
Well, I was gonna say, well, I've experienced the latter.
Clearly, I'm comfortable around you. I talk.
Uh
See,
huh.
like I'm an introvert. I
Well, I don't have to be comfortable around you to talk around you, but because primarily I've trained myself as I talk for a living, I just don't like dealing with people. So
yeah. See, I don't have to deal with people for a
No.
living.
To go back to a movie thing and whatnot, I still think it's funny the guy who played Kong. Like he's a actor born in Thailand and everything, done a metric fuck ton of like TV shows and everything. He is
Mhm.
best known for like 2 other movies besides Bangkok Dangerous. But his photo for his IMDb is him from Bangkok Dangerous in the freaking club, resting his arms on the rope of that one thing, staring at one of the gals.
Nice.
I was just like, that's pretty funny.
well, who picks their profile picture for IMDb? Do they, or does just the
I have no
website
fucking
do it?
clue.
And
I believe somebody does it.
I was gonna say, and is it always the same picture? Or does it depend on what movie you looked up?
Nope, because I went straight to his profile and that's the one that was there. Because the Nicolas Cage one's been the same Nicolas Cage one for fucking years.
Oh wow.
But
Cool.
it's been 1 week since you looked at me.
I have an exit now because I'm hungry.
Almost an hour and a half. And we have way fucking devolved because this was just a fun movie. I mean, we talked a bit
Yep.
about the movie. I completely butchered locations because I didn't know what it was supposed to be called and whatnot because I don't pay attention to everything considering fuck, I think out of all of us, how many of you have been out of the country?
Do you count across the border in Mexico?
It's out of the country.
Yeah, I mean I do
They-
count that. I haven't been to Mexico, but I do count it.
Mexico.
Yeah, and I've
Well,
been
then
out
I
of the country.
Then I have been out of the country.
I've never been
I was
out
gonna
of the
say because I think I might actually be the person here who's the most traveled.
I think
Well, I'm
you
sure
are.
you are.
country. Yeah.
Like we got Afghanistan twice, Horn of Africa, Georgia, the state and the country I got to stay in. Got to stay in Germany for a day, Japan for 3 years. That doesn't help. I've been to Florida several times, Arkansas, Vegas, Washington, the state. Obviously, been through Oklahoma, Tejas, New Mexico, Colorado, Arizona. Fuck, there's not many. I need to broaden that again. And
I've been
Go
to
more
New
states.
York. I've been to
New York.
Virginia. I've been to Detroit, Michigan. I've been to
I'm
Lancaster,
sorry.
Pennsylvania. I've been to.
Well,
I
it
think
depends
this
on
is
which
what-
part
oh.
which part of Detroit you go to as well. Because if you go to like, I
I
think
went
it's
to
more
suburb.
yeah. If you go to like suburbia Detroit, it's not bad at all.
Like Livonia,
Yeah. Did I ever tell you the story of when I had to go
Auburn
to?
Hills.
This was before I joined the military, and
Mhm.
I worked as a cleaner. So typically we like the specialty and whatnot. So it's like we would also go in there and like strip and wax floors and everything. and I had to go over to Detroit to clean at one of the schools and everything. And it was actually kind of funny because I was out there smoking Black and Mild or something, I can't remember. But I ended up talking to this black guy who's who's motorcyclist and everything. And we're bullshitting as he's out there smoking a cigarette as well, and like I, compliment him on his bike and everything. He's like, "I gotta ask, sir, you here for work?" And I was like, "Yes." And he's like, "Okay." He's like, "I knew it was one of two things." He's like, "You're either here for work or you're another white boy looking for weed." And I almost fell over laughing.
Mm.
Wow.
I was hoping you was a white boy looking for weed. God damn it.
No, he didn't sell and didn't partake of it. He's just like, I mean, typically it's what you see the most around here with someone. He's like, someone like yourself. He's like, which is how you are. He's like, you're either here because you're doing a job, especially for, being in a hotel. It's like, or you're here because you're looking for drugs. But we are going to get out. What?
He knows his audience.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So before we do the closing thing, would you recommend this to somebody else? Tier.
Yes.
Angela?
Yes.
Will?
Probably depends on the person.
Yeah. I'm actually almost tempted now that I found out this is a remake to go find the original and watch it as well.
Watch the original.
I mean, here in a few weeks, we still have to watch Nobody. I think I might have been the only one to see that as well currently.
I've seen it.
Okay. That's a good movie, too.
I've never even heard of it. So I have heard of Mr. Nobody, which is actually Jared Leto. But
Nobody stars Bob Odenkirk, the guy who played Saul in Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad.
You're not talking my language.
I haven't watched Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad. I just know that he's in those. He's done a whole bunch of stuff as well. Yeah, I would definitely recommend this movie. They're pretty good on everything. Let me do this real quick. Bob. Nope, that was the wrong button. Yeah, Bob Odenkirk, most known for Nobody. The whole thing in Better Call Saul. He was in Mr. Show with Bob and David for a couple episodes or something. Trying to find something else.
Okay.
It was for actor. Jesus Christ, 133, 131 things. Am I still in the writer? Okay. I'm trying to find something he was in that he was like a bigger thing on. Apparently he was in Disaster Artist.
Oh, God.
He was Bill Oswalt in Fargo, the TV show.
Can't say I've seen that one.
Couple episodes. Entourage. He's one of those people that's like, if you saw him, you'd know. You'd probably know his face.
Yeah, I would recognize if you saw.
So we'll go over to this.
This is Angela. She would recognize if she saw.
I'll share with you guys real quick on that, but we're gonna get out of here. There's a whole bunch of stuff to watch throughout the week, whether it be Minions or Never Watch Alone, Mr. AJ's Retro Arcade.
Man, we do a lot of shit.
There is a plethora of the midnight show on Saturday. Talking the Void next Sunday. We are going to get out of here. Hope you all have a wonderful night and a wonderful week. And Valentine's Day is coming up, so remember to get your spouse flowers or something.
I already have your singles awareness.
Or, well, I know Clown's married, so and if she's not a flowers person, like, I don't know, pick her up a meal or something. Do something she likes. Hopefully, she'll do something you like.
Get her a wrestling t-shirt, brother.
There you go. But have a good one, everyone. We made it over an hour and a half. See you next time.
Bye, all.
Good night, y'all.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Join us again next week, or you can check out the other people in the panel in the description and see us again plausibly on one of their channels, or just check out what work they've done. Have a good week, everyone.